Welcome to the channel. My name is James, and I'm a singer-songwriter based out of Charlotte, North Carolina. These days, to be a musical artist, you have to find an audience and you have to find a way to reach them. And I'm not great at TikTok, so this is what we're gonna do. I've been wanting to make a video journal like this for a long time, so I figured the best way to start was just to show you what it's like at a typical solo gig. Now, I've been doing these solo acoustic gigs for the last 4 years or so, but it's in the last year that I've made it a part of my income. And while I do have a day job, it is the way I support myself, and I'm pretty proud of that. So this is a kind of behind the scenes look into what a Friday night show day looks like. Last week, I got to play a place called the Goodyear House in Noda. I actually played here 3 years ago, back when I was starting out, and this is my first time back. It was an exciting time. There's places that I play pretty frequently. I've got some places that I play once a month, and then there are some places that I'll play a couple times a year. This is a beautiful venue in particular. The weather was perfect. It's fall here in Charlotte, so the weather is cool. It's not too hot. It's not too humid, and it was just a really fun night, especially because I started the week with a bout of strep throat, so I wasn't sure if I was going to get to play or not, which is stressful in its own right. But after some antibiotics and just resting, I got to do the show, and it was very fun. So if you're wondering how one books these gigs, it's the way you might think. You find the person who books it through either an Instagram DM, an email, you call the venue, you show up in person, and you find the person who books it, you show them your EPK or electronic press kit, which basically just means a video of you playing to show that you're decent enough to play in front of people, and they'll book you if they think you're the right fit for their venue. So this is one of the places in Noda that I've played this month. I play a lot of breweries and restaurants. They let me do 2 to 3 hour sets where I'll do covers and originals. And when I was starting out, I used to only play covers, and then I used to only also play places that only allowed covers. But now, since being a singer-songwriter is my main form of expression as an artist, I play places that allow me to do both. And it's totally fine if you're an artist or a singer who just does covers, but for me, I'm very adamant about this being what I want to be known for, not my covers. I want to be known for my originals. So I do the covers because I don't have 3 hours of originals that I'm happy to play or I'm proud to play, but I have about 2 that I am, and I'll do typically 2 hours of covers and an hour of originals on any given night. So if you found this interesting and you checked out my music and you wanted to book me for an event or your venue, please check out the booking information in my description, and let's work something out. So that's enough preamble. Let's just get into the show. So it's a Friday night in Noda, and I show up about an hour early to set up. Normally, I can get away with being 45 minutes early, but this was a place I hadn't played in a while, and I'm glad I showed up an hour early because the load-in was a bit tough. You cross a busy street back and forth because there's not an access that I can get to with my cart, with my gear, and I tend to take quite a bit of gear with me, which is, kind of my fault, but it's the way I get the sound that I want to, so it is what it is. So by the time I show up to the venue, I've already warmed up the voice in the car on the way to the show. I'm well dressed, I'm presentable, and then I'll greet whoever's there, the first person I see working. I ask what their name is, how they're doing tonight, and I tell them I'm the music for the evening, and they'll usually point me to their manager, or they'll take me to where they want me to play. And so then they usually leave you to your own devices. If they have a sound system, they'll show you where to hook up, but otherwise they'll leave you alone. That's when I take the time to ask, do you need anything announced tonight? Are there any specials going on for the restaurant or the bar? And just let me know if you need anything. And then I tell them that if it's a 3 hour show, I'll probably take a 10-minute break in the middle. If it's a 2 or 2.5 hour show, I'll just play it all the way through. But I'll let them know if I need to take a break so they know when to switch the music on or off. So then all set up. That night I played at 6 o'clock. So at 6 o'clock I started playing music, and I just did my usual set. So when I start playing, I actually at this point don't have a set list. I have a mental list of about 80 to 100 songs that I know I'm probably going to play that night, and it's just kind of based on the vibe. The reason for this is that there's songs that I know I want to play, and I know that I'll have fun playing as opposed to having an iPad out in front of me and reading lyrics and chords off of songs off of the internet or off of charts that I've prepared. So there's two schools of thought for this. If I were doing the iPad thing, as I like to call it, I would definitely be more accessible. I'd be able to play a wider variety of songs, and I would be able to fit in some places where I might not get to play normally. So specifically a lot of country bars, I would definitely get to do more of that. But the thing about it is, if I'm going to take requests all night, then I'm just going to be playing the same thing that the last person was playing who was here last week or the night before. And I don't know, I think music is art and you have to be unique. I'm playing songs that I know I like and I know that will convey that I'm having a good time. And I think that that's what's important in live music, because otherwise, if the venue wanted a very specific set list, then they just play music off of the speakers and not pay for a live musician, because it is expensive and restaurants and bars have a lot of overhead and they wouldn't invest in live music if they could just play music off of the speakers. So I think it's important that I do it the way I do it because it's right for me. If you play music off an iPad, that is totally your call, and that's more power to you. I wish I could do that, because then I wouldn't have to memorize these songs. I wouldn't have to try so hard, basically. And that doesn't make it better or worse, but this is what works for me. And I think it's going to be beneficial in the long run, because then for the originals that I play, they have to be memorable, right? So I do want to talk about the psychological aspect of this, which is kind of funny. There are nights where I'll go and play a show and nobody says a word to me. You show up, you play, and you do it for yourself, because people will not even acknowledge you sometimes. And you might think, oh, I'm playing badly, or I'm singing badly, or I'm not picking the right songs. But really, people are there hanging out with their friends, their family, they're having a drink, they're eating dinner. It's really not about you, which I used to think was detrimental to my, I don't know, career or whatever. But now I'm realizing that in the last year, I've been having the most fun doing these kinds of shows where nobody cares, because nobody cares. As long as I'm having fun, that's kind of all that matters, and I will perform the best when I'm having fun. And oddly enough, since I've realized that, it's translated into more tips, which is always welcome. And it's just been something that I look forward to, which is kind of hard to do when you've been working hard all week anyway, and then you've got to do 3 gigs that you booked 3 months ago, 3 gigs back to back to back, and you're tired and you don't know if you want to do it that weekend. And it makes it fun because you get to play music. So that's definitely something cool. Something about the psychology of being a live performer where you're not just playing your songs, you're kind of just providing a service to a venue, a restaurant or a bar. So yeah, then you'll pack up once you're done. You'll collect your tips, you'll contact the bar or restaurant manager, and they'll give you your check or your cash, and you'll go on your way. And the important thing is that Charlotte, surprisingly, has a very vibrant ecosystem for live musicians. Even though we're not known as a music market, we're not really known for anything besides finance and our miserable sports franchises. So it's very cool that I get to do this for half of a living, almost a full one. And yeah, so of course there have been bad experiences along the way. Sometimes venues have forgotten to have the check ready for you and they're 40 minutes away in traffic, and you have to come back on a random Tuesday and spend almost 2 hours of your day just getting a check for something that you should have already been paid for. Sure, that stuff happens. There's been gigs where I forget a capo, or you break a string, or you forget the battery to the pickup for your guitar. Lots of things can go wrong, but you keep learning along the way and you diminish those mistakes every time. So it's just a really cool thing that I get to do. And I think I think that when 10 years down the line, and however this career, if you want to call it that, has gone for me, it'll be a time that I will remember fondly, because I was just doing whatever I wanted. Like, sure, you don't make the most money, but you're working for yourself and you're meeting all sorts of cool people along the way. And yeah, I'm just honing my craft and playing my songs and learning really cool covers and just expressing myself every weekend, and you get paid to do it. So yeah, that's just a really small insight into what it's like being a solo acoustic musician here in Charlotte, North Carolina. I hope you enjoyed the video. I'm going to be doing these more frequently, and I'll be tackling all sorts of different subjects. So let me know if there's anything in particular that you want to know about or that you would like to hear me talk about, and just leave that in the comments below. Make sure to check out my music. That's the whole point of this, and we'll talk again soon. Thanks for watching.